It was all a dream. 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 It was all a dream.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the It Was All a Dream podcast. I am your host, Rob Sproul. You see me in a sweater today or a hoodie today. The weather's a little bit brisk outside here in Phoenix. It does get cold, but not cold. But today's guest started his business along with 4 other childhood friends, along with whom they grew up together with in Queen Creek, Arizona. They shared a vision from young kids to one day wanting to open up their own business. Back in 2021, it was a dream that came to reality. Then 2022, they opened their doors to their first location in Tempe. I need you guys to give a nice warm welcome to none other than the Spaghetti Shack's very own Joey P.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the introduction.
Most definitely. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
Good. Thanks for taking the time to meet with me. I appreciate your time greatly. We're going to get straight into things. When most people think of grabbing and, grab-to-go meals, they usually think burgers, chicken, tacos, pizza. What inspired you guys to take a different route and start the Spaghetti Shack?
Yeah, I'm a second-generation restaurateur. So I've grown up in restaurants. My parents had restaurants. So they had a sushi restaurant, and a wine bar. So I've been busting tables and doing dishes since I was 14. So I actually never thought I was really going to do food, to be honest. I would come home smelling like soy sauce, and I'm like, hey, I don't really want to do this. But I graduated school into COVID. So, there wasn't a lot of options. I used to work in sports. And so I did what every smart person did during COVID and opened a restaurant as they're all closing, right? But no, it was just as you said earlier, my best friends and I, since we were in kindergarten, wanted to start a business together. And I knew food. I was the one that was going to take the full-time jump. And so we started looking around at some other concepts to see what we liked. And we kind of stumbled upon this to-go pasta concept. And there's a couple other brands that are doing something similar to what we're doing. We looked at possibly even franchising or licensing one of those brands and thought, no, we could do it better ourselves. So with my experience and, my partner's expertise in what their fields are, we decided to give it a go. But we really liked the idea of this to-go pasta because not a lot of people are doing it. There's actually a lot of articles coming out right now about, fast casual Italian is actually booming right now. Okay. So it's not just us. There's other concepts that are doing, similar things. But then we've evolved over time, and now we're into mobile food, and I would even consider ourselves to be more of an events and catering business than that. But so yeah, it was just kind of, we saw this idea that we liked, thought that we could do it a little better, did it our own, and iterated, and here we are.
Nice. So all you guys went to school together as well, as far as college? I know you're at ASU.
Yeah, graduate. A couple of us went to ASU. One of my partners went to Texas A&M, and one of them's an engineer up in Indiana. He went to Rose-Hulman. But, we went to, 2 of us literally kindergarten, and then, we picked up the other 2 along the way in middle school, high school. But, yeah, we've been friends since we were, children.
Nice. So pasta became the thing and just took off running with it.
Yep.
Good deal. What was the process like finding the perfect location?
Tough. And to be honest, I learned a lot during that process. When we first started, I didn't know what I didn't know. But when you're thinking about a location for a restaurant, first off, everybody's always going to say it's location. And so at the time, we were looking for something that was something we could afford. Being to-go only, we didn't need a lot of space. So usually restaurants are in those larger spaces, your end caps, your drive-thrus, right? Because they need 3,000 square feet to sit everybody, right? So we're in our model for our concept is 1,000 to 1,300. So we were looking at a lot of like second generation coffee shops that you could think of, like maybe even a Subway. Our location used to actually be a Subway, our first location.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I learned a lot about what we should be looking for, demographics, where we should be going in the future. One of the great things about our location, how it just worked out, we weren't thinking that way now, is just we're so centralized in the valley. I have catering customers and event customers in AJ to the west side, and we're able to be like right in the middle in Tempe, right off the 60. So
that was the reason why
that
you
was a
guys
big
chose
thing for us.
Tempe over your home base of being Queen Creek. Like
I've been in Tempe. I've been in Tempe since I graduated. So yeah, that was my home at the time. Tempe. But yeah, it was just trying to find something that could work for us. Our concept's a little different, so there wasn't as many options as you would think. But now when we go and we work with people that we're working with, we're trying to franchise our brand. We engaged a real estate partner to help us understand demographics of who we're looking for and, the money in the area and, to be able to make a more informed decision.
Understood. Looking back at 2021 and 2022, what was the biggest challenges you guys faced getting the business off the ground?
Oh God, the build out was a mess. It was just like my parents' experience was Queen Creek back when Queen Creek was booming. So there wasn't a lot of like governmental oversight. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were trying to get through the bureaucracy that is, zoning and permitting.
Right.
And, it was just, we didn't know what we didn't know. So we were having to deal with the city and trying to get the right plans. I think we were in the plan creation stage for almost 6 months. And that was before we even started building out. So, learning how to do that and how to engage with the governmental agency, was something that I very much value the experience that I got doing that. But, it was quite frankly a mess, like just getting those red lines back and forth, not knowing what we were doing, engaging the wrong partners. Yeah, so something that I talk a lot to the younger entrepreneurs sometimes that I speak to, especially in food, is just like be prepared for what this looks like if you're going to go into a major metropolitan city. It's not just open the doors. You have major planning, even if you're not going to change anything in the space. You still really need to do those architectural plans, or else you can't open. So.
Right.
And you got to be adequately prepared to spend the money that you're going to need to spend to get a professional to do it right the first time, because you're going to end up spending it anyway if you try to cut corners. And that's something we learned early on.
Definitely understood. When you think of Italian restaurants, what makes the Spaghetti Shack different from others?
I love to use this example. I'm going to ask some questions to you now so you can see where we're going.
Okay.
Can you talk me through start to finish? You decide you want to go to Olive Garden. What does that look like? So very start from you on your phone deciding you want to go to Olive Garden.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of Olive Garden.
Any restaurant. Just think of any like you're going to go to a restaurant. You're going to go sit down. What does that experience look like? Like talk me through start to finish.
I'm going there. I'm going there with the intent of something that I already enjoy. So I already have my.
So
eyes
first
on
you're
something.
saying you're getting in the car. So we're going to walk through the timeline here. So you're getting in the car. You're driving there.
Yep.
Once you get there, what's the first thing you have to do usually?
Menu.
Yeah. Before that.
Be seated.
Wait.
Okay.
That's a big thing. So you always go to the Olive Garden, you're going to have to wait. Then you sit down, as you're talking about, you're then waiting again for your server, right? You're waiting. And then once you get served, you have to leave the tip. You have to do all those things. So one of the things that we try to focus on is Italian food. That is usually what you think of. I mean, when you think of burgers, I can go get a quick service option. I can do that. But when you think of Italian food, you're either going to go to the nice neighborhood restaurant, you're going to go to the Olive Garden, you're going to go to places like that. And it's just a whole process of things that sometimes you might not want to do. So our whole thing is just on the casual, make it quick, make it easy. Hop on the phone, place an order. It's ready for you when you get there. We kind of cut out the frills. I always say like the products that I use in my store are very similar to the ones being used in sit-down restaurants. I've literally picked up catering orders that have used the same kind of sauce bases that we've used at sit-down Italian restaurants. But our whole thing is being affordable, being easy, being quick. So like, for example, you're a soccer mom coming home from work or picking up your kids from practice, and you don't want to go to the Olive Garden and do that whole experience we just talked about, sit down, wait for it. And I know you could take takeout there, but then the prices are, you're still paying that experience price.
Right.
We're able to cut all that out. And are we like fast food affordable? No, but we're like a good price point less than, those sit down Italian places. So
no, I get
we're
that.
trying to go for value. We're trying to go for convenience. Convenience is a big thing for us.
Definitely.
And service, we're a caterer. So like we do a lot of events and catering, and the idea of taking somebody's food at their event and taking it off their plate so they don't have to worry about it. I mean, food is a really big part of having events, right? So, they got to make sure it gets done correctly. And we take really, really big pride on it. We deliver our own orders, our own catering orders. So convenience is probably where we go at.
Okay. So for me, as I was stating before, I drive by your location pretty much every day because I train in Chandler at Elevate Fitness. So 4 days out of the week, I'm driving by there. I was always just kind of skeptical about spaghetti restaurant. And for me, it was just about portion control. I'm just like, I want to make sure that it has enough meat or whatever the case may be, or this is a meal that I identify with just being at home more so eating than being even at a restaurant for the most part. Like if I go to an Italian restaurant, it's usually like chicken parmesan or something like that, but it's never been spaghetti for me. I decided to stop by your place of business because I was being inquisitive, and I was just like, well, let me just give it a try. I tried the spaghetti with the, I think it was the pink sauce. Is it pink?
Yeah, pink sauce. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Amazing. And then this past Tuesday, I stopped by again, and I ended up trying the chicken Alfredo. That's my favorite.
Okay.
By far. So I just want to tip my hat to you guys as far as that goes. When you think about community and your partnership, because like I was sitting in there and I seen the community partnership. Why is community so big to you guys as far as wanting to join the forces or get more eyes on other businesses along with yours through the process?
That's a good question. And to be honest, it's changed a lot over time. So, I'm a big believer in what business can be for its community. And not only the fact that like I take a lot of pride and I employ people who then use that money to pay their rents and, exist in this life. But also, businesses have a unique opportunity where I do have a platform where I'm serving anywhere between, on a slow day, 50 tickets to 300 people at one event. You know what I mean? And I have a platform to be able to connect with my community over food. That's why I love food. People connect over it. So when we first started, we wanted to use community as a way for us to get our brand out there. So we were looking for brands we could engage with, do some good work. And it was really successful for us because the way that I say is like, I like spaghetti and pasta because it's family oriented. When you think families, you think of your community, etc. So we wanted our brand to be something where it was like people had good feelings about it. So the idea that I use is you can either put your time and energy into something like the Google machine where you're just going to kind of pay ads and see what comes back.
Right.
Or you can do something a little bit more organic and work with other members of your community to try to do partnerships, engagements, or even just supporting nonprofits and things like that. Because then, we're building relationships with our community. Hopefully our relationships that will stand beyond that transaction. And it'll be something that will help us be in our communities longer, serve more people, and ultimately grow our business. So
how do other people get involved with that side of the table? Like if someone were to come in and they have a business, how do they align themselves with you?
But alignment is the big first thing that we look at. Is like, are we on the same page here? Do we have the same values as a business? Are we kind of going for the same target market? Because that's always a good thing. But yeah, I do a lot of networking and connecting. So I'm in various networking groups. I'm in like 3 to 4 chambers. So that's usually where those relationships are formed. But one of our biggest partners is $1 Million Teacher Project, and to be honest, that was a cold email. That they just kind of reached out and they caught us early on when we were looking for things, and it's something that a relationship I really value to this day. And not only have we been supportive of them, but they've been supportive of us and helping us get our feet wet and started in the space that we're in. So it just depends, but I like to start off with the relationship and see where it goes and see if our organizations can work together.
Okay. A couple of days ago, I did a pod with Catherine Pierce and her husband, who I met through a mutual friend of mine, Tab Pierce. They have a company called Network Live, and they do lots of mixers for entrepreneurs. Are those things that you take part in as well?
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with Network Live. Okay. But anything that we can go out there and introduce ourselves to, our market being catering and events, we try to go to places where those, people are. So, but yeah, entrepreneur groups, I'm in a couple of them myself. And, it's always just good to connect with others who are trying to do what you're doing or doing what you're doing, or even if it's not the same industry, we're able to, have those shared connections over that kind of thing. But absolutely. We're always, engaging wherever we can find those who want to engage with us.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking, because I noticed that you guys are also starting to do some franchising. Are there specific locations that you're looking at or out-of-state markets that you're looking at as well right now?
Right now, we're focused on Arizona.
Okay.
One, it's just legally how it works. Some of the states you have to file individually, and so we're focused here in Arizona right now. But also, we know that that's where our brand reaches. In the Valley, like we have a little bit of stuff that we do. We have a location in Pine Top, so that helps us a little bit in Flagstaff, places like that. But the beauty about franchising is we're looking for people who want to start our business. I mean, they want to start their own business, but they have the support of us with the brand that we've built, the systems that we have, et cetera. So what that basically means is there's not really a space I'm looking in. I could tell somebody what I believe that our restaurant would work in,
Right.
but ultimately it's their decision. So, we're trying to find people who, want to get in the restaurant space affordably. I know we talked about that earlier. We're also focused on an affordable business model. That's our main thing. Restaurants are notoriously a super high fixed cost investment, and we're kind of trying to flip that on its head a little bit. So, I think that we would work well in a lot of suburban areas that are not too far away from major cities because we do the events and catering and things like that. But it really just depends on where our interested parties want to go.
Okay, sounds good. I already mentioned what my favorite dish was, which was the chicken Alfredo. There, what's your most popular dish, and why do you think customers love it?
Spaghetti and meatballs. I mean, when you think Spaghetti Shack, that's usually what people come in for. And it's also in our name, so I feel like if you don't know us, that's probably what you're coming in for.
Pink sauce, or is it the
red sauce? Red sauce, yeah. Okay. But yeah, and it's the feel good food. That we've got on our menu. It's the thing that everybody knows. Like, when we get a lot of hesitancy around our pink sauce because everyone's like, "What the heck is that?" I'm like, it's very similar to a vodka sauce, but it's not. It doesn't have vodka in it. That kind of thing. But it's like a creamy marinara. But anyway, it's the comfort food. It's what everybody knows. And when people are finding us for the first time, it's usually what they're coming in to expect. So the Spaghetti Shack, I'm getting spaghetti and meatballs. So
right.
That's by far our most popular item.
Most definitely. Well, now we've reached the part of the show that is called.
And if you don't know, now you know. 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 Now you know.
Now this is the part of the show where I've reached out to some of your team, and they provided me some questions that they didn't know about you. Are you ready?
Sure, let's do it. Okay. I'm a little scared, but yeah, I'm ready.
This first question is from Ernie. Who's Ernie to you?
Ernie is our new GM at our Tempe location. He runs our food truck, and our location. But
okay, all right. Well, Ernie said, if you could only eat one dish from your menu for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So there's two ways to go about this. Is what's my favorite, but also what I'm not going to get tired of. Right. So I'll go with my favorite dish I have. If I already said I love our pink sauce, our meatballs are the best. So when I order, I do penne noodles. I actually do, I put half the bowl as red sauce, half the bowl as Alfredo sauce. And I put one meatball on each side so that they get the split. And then that way I can eat a little bit of white and a little bit of red. And our pink is actually a mixture. So the end, I stir it up. So I guess that would be what I ate because it's not only my favorite, but it also gives me a little bit of variety in there.
No doubt.
Because I'm Mr. Can't eat the same thing all the time. So yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Nice little mixture there. The next question is from John. Who is John?
John is actually one of my fraternity brothers from school, but he works there. He's our assistant manager.
Okay. Well, John says, what is something you would have done differently knowing what you know now about restaurants?
A lot. I would have done a lot of things different. One of the things about restaurants is, the average, most restaurants don't make it 2 years. And there's a lot of stats regarding that. It's like 75% or something like that. It's ridiculous. Restaurants are extremely, extremely risky. And I used to think it was just because, you go over time, your sales go up, they go up, they go up, they go up. Mm-hmm. And yes, that's true, but it's mostly just so you stop doing dumb stuff. Like it's just, I didn't understand at the beginning, how important food costing and labor costing percentages and everything that went into that. I was like, we just got to push more product. And while that's definitely true, there is a fine line between, understanding what your fixed, your variable costs, all that kind of stuff.
Bottom line.
So that was a huge thing. Mm-hmm. But secondly is, just having an understanding of the finances and what it takes to get this started. When we started this, my partners and I just thought we were going to bootstrap the thing. We're like, oh yeah, we got it. Let's just put this money in and we're good. Well, really quickly, we found out that it's a lot more expensive than what we were being told at the time to run a restaurant. So, finding that funding before you get started, that way you can do it the right way, get the SBA loan product, raise the money through private investors, whatever you're going to do, making sure that you have it first, because once you're in the fight, like it's too late to be looking for cash. You need to be able to execute your plan. And if you have a plan, you need to be able to have the financing to support the plan.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we've had locations that we've opened that have not worked, and it was a huge learning process for us, but mostly it's been along the lines of like making sure that we have the funding before we get started.
Jumping into that. Yeah, the second part to that question as well. He has said, what has been the most exciting time in your restaurant's history?
Gosh, there's a lot of great moments I can think of. Like the grand opening day was really special. Just being able to have everybody in one place and, all my friends and family that came through that day and just the community members that showed us support. So like that first month or so was a really special time. But when I think about other, great moments, it's, those catering orders that we knock out. And to be honest, it's a lot of the engagement with the community stuff that we've done over the years with our, program where we used to do the dinner for anniversary and celebrate. It was our Shack-tacular. We called it Raise Some Money.
Oh, nice.
Those are great events too.
Are those monthly outings?
No, we do them. We used to do annually.
Okay.
So
annually,
we do them for our anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think there's just a bunch of different things I can think of, and for different reasons,
but those being the ones that waver the most. Okay. And the last person that had questions for you is Ariel. What's Ariel to you?
Ariel is our admin assistant, so she's like my right hand.
Okay. Well, Ariel says, what is your most unexpected success?
Catering. I have a funny story about how our catering business blew up, but
do tell.
So one of my things in life is I'll try to take a meeting with anybody who asks. At this point in my career and in my life, it's a little bit harder, to fit time in than it used to be when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
But what I tell people when they get started is just connect, take meeting. Somebody reaches out to you, you got to get your name out there. So take it. I remember sitting in my office at the time, which is in the back of the restaurant, and I got this email from random cold email. It seemed like it was fake. And it said hey, we're a third-party catering company. We do pop-ups. Are you interested in doing this? And it's about 8-9 months into us running the restaurant. And I'm like, sure, I'll take the meeting. So they come by, they see our thing. They're like, this is cool. We'd love for you guys to be a partner. And I'm like, sure, let's do it. At the time we had no idea what we were doing, literally zero. I remember going to the restaurant store and just buying all this stuff for catering because we've never done it before. We've done the pickup stuff, but we're talking pop-ups, going and setting up at a corporate business. It's no small feat.
Right.
Well, fast forward of this random meeting I took that looked like a scam. It completely changed our business. Catering is anywhere between 30 to 50% of our total sales on a monthly basis.
Oh, wow.
We are complete. I'm telling everybody now, we're an events business with a storefront, meaning that our focus is on catering and events. And if it wasn't have been for that one random email, which is a partner that we still engage with to this day, we wouldn't be in the situation
Changed
that
your
we're
business
in.
model.
It did. It completely did. All because I was open-minded enough to take an order or and to try new things. I always hear that a lot, with people talking about their businesses. Just try something. It might not work the way that you thought. That first event was a disaster. We got it out, but it was a disaster. But now we got those things down to a science, and it's really good revenue for us. It allows us to get out there. And it all came from one random cold email that I didn't want to take.
What made you turn back to wanting to do it again after having such a bad experience the first time?
The paycheck.
You saw the potential.
Yeah. We were like,
this
this is gonna work, and because I just spent $3,000 on a bunch of catering equipment, so I was gonna make it work.
We got to do something.
Yeah,
with this.
we gotta make
interest.
it work. But that's what I think about. I think what my business is now as an events and catering business.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh at the fact that it came from that one cold email and a partner who we're very grateful for and engage with still on a regular basis.
You gotta sit back and laugh about this.
I do. Yeah.
No doubt. I see you guys have plans, like I spoke about earlier, about franchising. Can you speak to any progress that you're making currently?
Sure. Yeah. So, we've kind of changed what we're doing over time, and we're trying to take a little bit more of a sustainable approach than we originally did. But we are looking to, we're trying to build a brand. I would love to make Spaghetti Shack something that is in every community and is something that is a household name. But what we're doing right now is we're looking for their first 1 or 2 franchises to join our team. And what I mean by that is, family, you heard about who I started my business with. Mm-hmm. Family is extremely important to me, and we're looking for the right member of our Spaghetti Shack family. somebody that wants to get started in restaurants, somebody that doesn't necessarily know how to do it, but is looking for something that's affordable, something that has the blueprint, something that's easy to run, and that's what we're going for. So we're really just looking for those people organically. We're not running a bunch of ads or anything like that. We've done it in the past, and we've got some people that we're working with. But the one thing about franchising is it's an extremely regulated industry. So like there's some things I can and can't talk about or things like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to get, 1 to 2 done by the end of this year, and hopefully build from there and raise some capital to do it as I talked about capital earlier, do it the right way. But something that we're really excited about that we see as the future of where we're going. At this point, we're just trying to find the right person.
Nice. You had spoke to having Shacktacular, is it called?
Yeah.
As one of your special traditions or annual events. Are there any other events or promotions that you do to kind of keep customers engaged?
Yeah, so I use Taco Bell as kind of the model about how restaurant marketing should be done. And what I mean by that is like, if you think about Taco Bell, they are always having something new on the menu. I don't know if you're a Taco Bell guy. To be honest, I'm not really either myself. But there's always something fresh and new when you go in there. And if you really think about it, it's just a reorganization of the ingredients that they already have. But what it is it always gives you a reason to go back. And so what we're trying to get into that space of is doing those promotions, getting those things out there, introducing new menu items that give our customers a reason to come try us. So meaning that like, we just added meat sauce. I know that's crazy. Everyone's like, how'd you just add meat sauce to your menu? But we did. We're a very simple process or thing, but it gave our customers a reason to come in and try us. Hey, we got to go to Spaghetti Shack soon. They got that new meat sauce. We got to try that. So we got some fun stuff coming up that we're really excited to roll out there. But we do Meatball Monday. I think that's our big thing. So like meatballs are buy one, get one free on Mondays. Our customers really like that. But yeah, we're just always looking for ways and to do fun partnerships to give people a reason to come in. So the one that we've been doing recently is we do Donate Life. The Donor Network of Arizona is a good partner of ours.
Okay.
So we basically, I don't know what we're doing again this month or this year, but I'll talk about what we did last year. We partnered with them so that everybody who came into our restaurant, if they were an organ donor, we gave them a dessert. And if they signed up to be an organ donor, like we gave them some pins and everything like that. So we ran like a little donation drive, an organ donation drive from the restaurant, which doesn't sound like it goes together. But it got us a lot of great exposure. It was nice for them because we did sign up some people to be organ donors that weren't already. And then lastly, like it was an opportunity for them to engage in a different area that they've never been before. So I'm always looking for win-wins, good exposure for us, good outcome for them.
What made you choose that line of business as far as like aligning yourself with, as far as donors?
It's funny. I can't remember how I met Hamilton. I'm trying to think right now. I gotta assume we met at an event. Oh no, we were introduced to another community partner of ours. So we work with TCAA, Tempe Community Action Agency. They do a lot of good work in Tempe. They honestly, they have like 10 to 12 different services. They do anything from like homeless to helping people find jobs. They're like the Tempe, nonprofit service. But we do their annual gala every year. They do like a taste of event. I don't know if you've ever been to those. So like there's like 8 to 10 restaurants come and they have like, we have little stands and we donate food and then everybody tries it, but it's a gala. So they raise money. But we've done that with them for, this will be our 4th year doing that. And it's coming up in a couple weeks. But they introduced us to the Donor Network, and then the Donor Network, we hit it off with them, found that, there was a good fit. We talked about doing something together and we did.
Nice. Who's been your biggest mentor or inspiration along this journey?
I have plenty of mentors. I'm really, really big into mentorship. Just a couple people that have been really, good. I have one of my biggest mentors is Aaron. My name's Aaron, and he's actually a lawyer. Doesn't know food. Not a small business entrepreneur, but just to be able to have that connection and to be able to go and be open with him about what's going on and to get his perspective and support. We used to work at the same company I was at before I started the restaurant, but he's been a super, super big help. I always, feel the need to say thank you for everything he's done for me. But also my parents are, being able to learn from them.
I was going to ask about that.
And sometimes what not to do. So I'm just kidding. But no, my parents are, great restaurateurs on their own right. And, sometimes I bet you they think I should listen a little bit more. But I'm very thankful for the help that they provide and what they've been able to do for getting us where we need to go.
What do you feel is the biggest thing that you've learned from them through the process as far as like the restaurant industry?
My parents have a very, very good eye for when things are not the way that they should be. And, you know, the one thing is like, I'm not a cook. You know, I've done a lot of things in the restaurants, but I'm not a cook. So I can talk to you here all day about food costs and systems and marketing and all those things. But my parents are operators. So like my stepdad can walk in there and he'll be like, this needs to be on the wall right. This needs to be correct. You know, they just have an eye for making things look right and the way that the food should be presented and when something's not happening in the store. So I lean on them a lot for that kind of thing. But secondly, what I learned from them in their restaurants is just how to build a staff, a community of people. Like I love telling the story, but my stepdad's a sushi restaurant. They had the same bar manager and kitchen manager there for the entire 11 years that he owned it. And I learned a lot about how you can trust in people and build those relationships in those teams. And do we struggle with turnover like every restaurant? Of course. But it's something that we're really, really focused on our franchise side, though. Like we're trying to bring in people. We're trying to have this community atmosphere because I am only successful if those stores are successful. And they're only successful if I'm being the franchisor that I need to be. So that's a little bit about, you know, what I learned from them.
No doubt. What advice would you give to someone that's looking to start their own food business?
Food. Be ready for a year or two of just a mess. This is a very messy industry, and it just is. And you know, right now, even if you want to look at some of the big brands are struggling. Like, I mean, I know if you don't pay attention, like Starbucks is having some issues on some areas on quality, and Chipotle and all these bigger brands. It's not the same industry that it once was. You know, food costs are out of control, and then when food costs are out of control, then as we know, like the minimum wage and stuff is going up. And I'm not sitting here to argue that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a reality. Yep. So when you used to be able to have a bunch of people in your kitchen, if you go to Chipotle now, there's 3 or 4 people working in there where there used to be 8 to 9.
Right.
The industry's changing because everybody has their margins they need to hit. And, you know, tickets are down, but average orders are up. So it's just be ready for a really big changing industry. But be ready for a couple years of a mess, and like, you know, make sure you have your money set aside to do it. Make sure you have your plan ready. Just stick it out. Because I think they'll learn, they'll grow, they'll be a better person and a better company than they will start with. But as long as somebody has the right expectations of what they're getting themselves into, that's where I would start. Because I think a lot of people just find food sexy, or they think that they're a good cook, so they need to open up their own restaurant or food truck or whatever it is. And while those things, you know, may be true, there's a lot to owning a restaurant that people don't really understand.
Understood. At the end of the day, when it comes to legacy, what do you want the Spaghetti Shack to be remembered as?
I think mostly just a place that you enjoyed. You know, when I think of like my favorite restaurants or restaurants that I like to eat at, it's not like they occupy this huge, you know, space in my life. But, you know, we've got customers that come 3 to 4 times a week. And, you know, we've got customers that come once a month. But, you know, I love hearing the stories about like, my kid won't eat spaghetti unless it's Spaghetti Shack. Like those are the favorite things that I like to hear about. And, you know, I think that that's what I would just hope, is that people enjoyed us. They enjoyed their interactions with us, whether they ordered food from us, whether we engaged with the nonprofit they support, that they just ultimately have good feelings about the work that we're doing. So I think that that's what's important to me, is just however you choose to engage with my brand, whether it's over DoorDash, whether it's coming in, whether it's a catering order, visiting us at a food truck. I just hope that you had good feelings about your experience.
What do you want to leave the people with before we get up out of here?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you listening. Come get a bowl of spaghetti sometime.
Most definitely. Try the spaghetti. Also try the chicken Alfredo. That's my fave, but spaghetti as well. I want to thank you for your time, Joey.
Thanks for having me.
Joey P., The Spaghetti Shack. Rob, It Was All a Dream podcast. Until next time. Peace.